Hey everybody, welcome to Crazy Woodworks. Today I'm going to be doing a project with a duck call. I hadn't been on video in quite some time. I've been extremely busy, but there for a little bit I was making some bottle stoppers with the drill press. So I wanted to show you a process that I've taken up to doing duck calls. Everybody seems to like them real well. I pour my own acrylic and mix my colors, and then I put it on a lathe and I turn it. There's a lot of people making duck calls. I want to kind of show you my process and how I make them. So if you'll stay tuned, we'll get right into it, and I'll probably be pausing for time's sake. But if you have any comments or anything like that, if I could do something a little different and you got comments, please shoot them to me at crazywoodworks@yahoo.com. The name of my calls are Papaw T's custom calls. So if anybody want to email me, be fine. crazywoodworks@yahoo.com. The name of my duck calls are Papaw T's custom calls. So hang in there and I'll get the process started. Now I'm going to be turning this somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,800 RPMs. So if you'll hang in there with me, I'm going to get it started. First of all, this is 4 inches, and what I'm going to do, this is the end that the insert's going to go in. So I'm going to trim this up, and this is where I usually make where the ring goes, but I kind of make my own design in here, and then I just kind of go from there. There's no perfect design other than just getting it the way you want it. So pretty unique the way that's done. So here we go. Now at this point, I'm going to go ahead and put my tailstock in to keep everything good, true, and centered so that it won't vibrate. And I can go ahead and start on this end right here. I'll bring the tailstock up a little bit, just give it a little good and tighten. So it sounds different now because it's not vibrating. And then we can go from there. I usually get me a ring out. I'm not going to put this ring on, but it's going to give me some kind of an idea of where I want it. I put myself a little mark there. this point, I want to make sure that, I'm not going to put this ring on, but I want to get it somewhere about the same as I would if I was going to put a ring on. So I'm going to make a real nice looking end on this. I'll be stopping the process, the lathe here quite a bit, just to make sure I'm getting everything where I want it. So, I'm pretty close there. So what I'll do is I'll start working it down, and then normally I, work on this end, and I'll turn around and get this where I want it. Then I know I got enough meat here to get some of this out, because I wanted to make sure that I got enough there to do the process. Now I'm not going to bore you with getting this down. I'm going to pause it, but what I'm fixing to do is I'm fixing to knock this down a little bit. I'd rather for you to see where I'm dipping it and using the tools that I use to make the rest of it. So I'm going to pause it for a minute so I can get this down to size, and then I'll show you from there. Alright, just so you know, I have flipped this over. I'm going to work on this end a little bit, because what I like to do is get this down to about where my mouthpiece is. And that way I know how much room I'm going to have in here to be able to dip it, or I don't want to take too much out of here and then I don't have enough down here. So I'm going to pause it. I'm going to work on it. Well, first I'll show you that I'm going to cut this off, because I'm right now at, somewhere in the 3.5 inch mark. I need to be somewhere in the 3/4. That's what my duck calls usually are. They recall real good. Use a double reed in it. So I'll show you a little bit of that, and then I'll pause it. But I got it up on my mandrel pretty far because I don't want it to vibrate while I'm cutting this off. So I'll just show you the process of that a little bit, and then I'll pause it. While I'm doing this, I'm thinking about a design. I'm not sure how I'm going to go with it yet, but I'm going to figure it out between now and the time I get over here. So that's the fun part of it. You never know. You know, most people, companies that make duck calls, they're in mass production. And those that make it, like I'm making it now, they come up with the designs as they go. So that's a unique thing. And then they sell good. So, good thing. That's pretty close. What I'll do now is I'm going to have to get this a little bit smoother. So I'm going to move my tail spot way on back. And then I'm going to try to move my I'm going to try to move this around so that I can make sure I'm about center. So once I get this set, I'll get this cleaned up a little bit and I'll pause it, show you how that process goes. Watch that process. Now I'm gonna pause it and I'm gonna cut this down like I did this to the size of the mouthpiece. Right quick, I want to show you where I have turned that down to about the size that I want my mouthpiece to be. So I'm gonna start working on this, getting it the shape that I want it. So just hang in there now. Show you once I get this process done a little bit more. I've got the piece that you blow in about where I want it, where I can shape it. I'll show you that process. And I got this where I want it, and I'll show you the process of that. Just to show you what I'm doing, I'm cutting this down. I just want to show you for this. For time's sake, I'm going to pause it again, but I'm going to show you what I'm doing. And I'll show you here in a minute. I'm going to get it down to where I need to be. I'll show you that process. All right, I want to show you where I'm at right now, so you can see that it's starting to take a little shape. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip it back around and work on this end, because I'm going to use a tool in here to be able to do it where your lanyard goes. All right, I'm going to show you this little process here, to where I'm going to start making. I'm going to start making the lanyard strap. Just going to cut into it a little bit. I'm going to stop this just a second. I've got to make sure that when I'm cutting this groove here that I'm going to leave myself enough room to be able to sand it in there. So I'm going to stop right there, and then I'm going to start working in this area here, and I'll show you how I do that. Then I'll pause it. Where you have to be real careful, because it can grab your tool and just rip it out of your hand. So if it happens to do that, it just will do it. So I try to be real careful with this part. What I'm doing is designing my own ring here. You notice I'm just dipping down in there. Looking pretty good there. Got a little curve in there. Then I'll come around this side and round it back in. But I want to get a little detail right here so that it'll be pretty. Just carry it real slow and easy. Alright, I'm going to show it to you here. I got a little curve in there, looking good, black and gold, be really nice. Alright, so I'm going to continue with this a little bit, so just hang on. I'm going to pause it. Alright, what I'm going to do now is use this tool here to kind of round this over a little bit, make this about as smooth as I can get it. You notice I'm just barely taking it. Getting a little bit of meat off of it. Have to be real careful with this process. Just want it to be good and smooth round over. And if you don't watch out, if you get too much, well then you mess all this up, and then you got to go back and do it all over again. Just want to get a little bit of it. That feels pretty good. Show you that a little bit, see how nice and round it is. It looks good, smooth, no bites out of it, so you didn't grab it. You get real lucky sometimes when that don't happen, but sometimes it might grab it and get too much of a bite and you get it sighted, and then you have holes in there and you got to go get it all smooth. So you have to be real careful in that process. I'm going to pause it and we'll continue. Let me show you right quick what I did. I flipped it. Because what I want to do is get me an angle right in here. It's hard to get an angle when it's on this end because of your motor. Now, I flipped it around so that I can go this way because it's more comfortable for me. I'm right-handed. And I can get this bevel in here a whole lot better. So, I'll go ahead and do some, continue turning it a little bit, and then I'll show you the next step. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I've already put a little bit of bevel in there. So I'm going to take my time and get it the way I want it. I want to get a little bevel on it. You have to be real careful or you bite too much out of it. I've got this end looking good. I got the size that I want off this one. I'm working on this, and then I'm going to take this out. And then you'll have a good looking duck call. Now, I'll show you what I'm talking about. I got the bevel that I want. I may go a little deeper than that on this end here, but really it looks pretty good. So it's just my preference. Now, I usually have a linear handy so that I can I'm sorry, I stepped away from the camera, I usually have a linear here so I can get some kind of, most people use the leather ones, but this gives me an idea that, you know, that's not bad. So I'm going to continue to work on this just a little bit and get a little bit deeper, and then that way I know that their linear will go in there real well. So alright, I'm going to pause it and then I'll show you where I'm at on the next step. Alright, just so you know, I'm fixing to start. I'm going to take this tool now and I'm going to start dipping in here, and I'm going to get it the way I want it, and then I'll finish this end and you pretty much have a duck call. So I'm going to work on this a little bit and get it how I want it, and then I'll measure the thickness of this in here. I don't want it too thin where that you might drop it and break it, but I also want it just right to my specification so that you'll get a good sound out of it. I'll show you what I'm talking about as I start the process. I'm doing it just pulling it out the way I want it. I want a little bite right in there for my mouthpiece. So this here part takes the longest, because you want to make sure you get it right. Alright, all I've been doing is just turning this real slowly and making sure that, you know, that I'm not getting too thin in here. I'm going to work on the mouthpiece now, and we don't like much being a duck call here, so I'm going to show you a little bit on how I do this. I'm going to set it all up and then I'll show you. This can also be real ticky, because what you want to do, you got to be real careful when you're coming in here. If you don't, you'll take out too much, and then you'll have to, you know, you don't want to mess this up. So I'm going to show you a little bit of the process, and I'm going to pause it. Make sure you get this brown, because people are going to be putting their mouth on it, so you got to make sure that it's all good. So that's a little bit of a process, getting it round, and I'll show you how I do the inside of it to get it where that it's kind of go in here just a little bit and get this out. That's a pretty good start right there, and then when we sand it, well, then you'll get a good smooth surface there to put your mouth on. So I'm going to pause it and continue to work on this a little bit to get the way I want it, and then I'll show you the sanding process, and we're going to have a good looking duck call. Alright, what we got here is a good looking start on a duck call. I usually try to test it with my mouth, make sure I get a good seal on it, and I'll show you the next process to sand it. So I'm gonna turn this just a little bit more, make it round, and then we'll be ready for the sanding process, and we'll have a duck call. Alright, all I'm going to do now is just touch it up a little bit with some sandpaper, and then I'm going to turn it, go to 12,000 grit with wet sand. So I'm going to go ahead and do that process. I'll show you the next step. Alright, I've been sanding it with water. I'm up to 12,000 grit now. So that should get a shine on it. Then I'm going to polish it with some plastic polish. And should have a really good looking duck call. I'm gonna let you look at it. Got a pretty good shine on it now, really nice. Once I get the polish on there, I'll show you what it looks like, and then we'll go from there. All right, everybody, I put the I went all the way 12,000 grit on sandpaper, and I'm going to show you the process on the plastic. Plastics is what they call it. I use this to finish it off to get any kind of little small imperfections out of it. This usually gets a little messy. I usually turn the speed up on it a little bit if we want to get a polish. I really like to use shop towels instead of regular paper towels, but I was out of them. Usually they do a better job, but you can just see the difference right there. I try to tell nobody to put their finger in there, but everybody does it anyhow, so use it, do it at your own caution. It is just absolutely beautiful. I want to get the end of it here, where that I want to polish the end of that. Got yourself a duck call right there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let's see if I can show you. I'm going to get it up here where I can show you without the light, or the light on it. Yeah. Just got a beautiful duck call. Beautiful. There you go. Maybe you can see it like that. But really shiny, really pretty. Just awesome. Thank y'all. Well, I said thank y'all, and I thought I was gone, but I got a little bit better picture of it here so that you can actually look at it. So, man, that thing is beautiful. I'm going to put a black insert with that, and it's going to be ready to go call some ducks. Hey, thank y'all for watching. Crazy Woodworks at yahoo.com. Send me a email, any comments, and I'd appreciate it. Thank you.